This video is on the critical topic of phishing, and most importantly, how to prevent it. In this digital age where technology is integral to our lives and businesses, phishing has emerged as a pervasive and concerning cybersecurity threat. All of us must understand the concept of phishing and its potential consequences to safeguard our personal information, financial assets, and sensitive data. At its core, phishing is a devious and deceptive cyber attack technique used by malicious actors to gain unauthorized access to sensitive information and exploit individuals, businesses, and organizations. These attackers employ cunning tactics, often masquerading as trustworthy entities or familiar contacts, to trick unsuspecting victims into revealing valuable data such as login credentials, financial details, or personal information. As technology continues to evolve, phishing attacks have become more sophisticated, making them harder to detect. They can take various forms, from fraudulent emails and fake websites to text messages and social media messages, all designed to lure us into unwittingly divulging sensitive information. Phishing attacks not only compromise individual users, but also pose a significant risk to corporate networks, jeopardizing the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of crucial business data. In the next few sections of this video, we'll explore the different types of phishing attacks, dissect the methods employed by cybercriminals, and analyze real-world examples of significant data breaches caused by phishing. However, our primary focus will be on empowerment and prevention. We will equip ourselves with practical strategies and best practices to fortify our defenses against phishing attempts and cultivate a strong cybersecurity posture. I'd like to share with you two significant breaches that occurred both in 2013, the Yahoo data breach and the Target data breach. Both incidences serve as crucial reminders of the damaging effects posed by phishing.
The biggest hack of one company users ever, user names, phone numbers, email addresses, dates of birth, and of course, those security questions and answers.
Let's start with the Yahoo breach, which did take place in 2013 but was disclosed in 2016. This breach was massive, affecting over 3 billion users, making it one of the largest breaches in history. So how did it happen? Well, the attackers used a technique called spear phishing to target the Yahoo employees, meaning they crafted convincing emails that appeared legitimate and tricked employees into clicking on malicious links or downloading malware-infected attachments. Once they gained access to the employee accounts, they leveraged that foothold to navigate through the company's systems and eventually gained access to the user database. As a result, sensitive information such as emails, hashed passwords, phone numbers, and security questions were all stolen, putting Yahoo users at risk of cybercrime and identity theft.
Customers of one of the most popular retailers in the country. The Secret Service is investigating a major data breach at Target. Approximately 40 million customers' credit and debit cards may have been compromised.
Check your credit card accounts for fraud and report it to your bank. That the amount of money stolen during those 2 weeks could be staggering.
Next, let's turn our attention to the Target data breach, which occurred during the holiday shopping season of 2013. In this case, approximately 41 million customer payment card accounts were compromised, and the personal information of about 60 million customers was exposed. How did the attackers get into this one? They used a phishing email to target a third-party HVAC vendor associated with Target. By sending a deceptive email, the hackers managed to obtain the vendor's login credentials when an employee fell victim to their scheme. Armed with these stolen credentials, they gained access to Target's network. Once inside, the attackers installed malware on Target's point-of-sale systems, allowing them to capture payment card data during transactions. This data was then stolen from targets' network and used for fraudulent activities.
My first story is of billionaire NBA owner Robert Pera, whose company Ubiquity was duped out of almost $50 million. And what was explained as employee impersonation, the company was targeted in a phishing attack with the fraudsters' emails targeting the chief accounting officer by posing as a purported lawyer. However, the emails came from an account ending with @consultant.com. The fake emails sent instructions that contained banking details and authorized payments totaling $46.7 million. Cybersecurity blogger Brian Krebs said the swindle that hit the company is commonly known as CEO fraud or business email compromise, in which cybercriminals using phishing and other email spoofs to target businesses that regularly perform foreign wire transfers. In January 2015, the FBI issued a public advisory about the business email compromise scam, saying it cost roughly 1,200 U.S. victims nearly $215 million in losses from October 2013 to December 2014. The FBI said banks in China and Hong Kong were the most common end destinations for the fraudulent transfers. Second, in 2014, a major drug company, Upsher-Smith Laboratories, was targeted by someone pretending to be the CEO. This type of phishing attack is referred to as CEO spoofing. By pretending to be the CEO of Upsher-Smith, the attackers emailed the accounts payable coordinator to follow the instructions from the CEO and the organization's lawyer, and over 3 weeks they were able to ask the bank to send 9 wire transfers totaling over $50 million. The organization was able to stop one of the bank transfers, but its loss was still upwards of $39 million. Upsher-Smith Laboratories sued the bank for not spotting the fraudulent emails and missing multiple red flags.
The FBI is on the case, and they are warning big companies in America to protect their data after a big Hollywood studio got hit by hackers and several blockbuster movies ended up online, most of them before they've even hit theaters.
Now someone has hacked into Sony Pictures, the studio that produced the movie.
Sony is actively investigating a North Korean link to this hacking attack that was carried out last Monday.
North Korea, however, called the movie an act of war and promised a merciless countermeasure after the trailer's release in June. Now someone has hacked into Sony Pictures.
In November 2014, Sony Pictures Entertainment experienced a major cyber attack by a group called Guardians of Peace. The attack exposed sensitive data, including personal identifiable information of employees, sensitive emails among top executives, and unreleased films. The breach was allegedly motivated by Sony's film The Interview, which satirized North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The attackers demanded that the film be pulled from release, threatening terrorist actions. Sony responded by shutting down its network, canceling the film's release, and implementing a secure rebuild strategy for information security. The company aimed to enforce a zero-trust approach and implemented several measures, including restricted internet access, encryption, and multi-factor authentication. However, before the breach, Sony had failed to implement basic security measures, leaving old encrypted emails on servers and strong sensitive information in unprotected spreadsheets. The cyber attack demonstrated the need for robust security measures to protect against sophisticated attacks.
We begin with the brazen cyber attack that has shut down the biggest pipeline in the United States, cutting off the flow of gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. The Colonial Pipeline supplies fuel from the Gulf Coast to the densely populated eastern and southern United States.
The first and largest major disruption of energy infrastructure in the United States that is coming from a cyber problem.
DarkSide is a known organized group of hackers, mostly based in Russia.
The Colonial Pipeline hack stands as the most significant publicly disclosed cyber attack on critical infrastructure in the United States. The breach targeted Colonial Pipeline's IT systems through a multi-stage attack, but the operational technology responsible for oil movement remained untouched. The intrusion began with a hacker group known as DarkSide infiltrated the Colonial Pipeline network, rapidly exfiltrating 100 gigabytes of data. Subsequently, they deployed ransomware across the IT network, affecting various computer systems, including billing and accounting. To prevent the ransomware from spreading further, Colonial Pipeline made the difficult decision to temporarily shut down its pipeline operations. In response, they engaged the expertise of security investigation firm Mandiant, who thoroughly probed the attack. Authorities, including the FBI, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, U.S. Department of Energy, and Department of Homeland Security, were duly informed. In an effort to regain control of their systems, Colonial Pipeline ultimately opted to pay the dark side hackers to obtain the necessary decryption key. Once in possession of the key, their IT staff could effectively restore control over their systems. It was only on May 12th that Colonial Pipeline successfully resumed its pipeline operations following these challenging events. The incident underscored the vulnerability of critical infrastructure to cyber threats and emphasized the need for strengthened cybersecurity measures and collaborations with relevant authorities to safeguard essential national systems.
Operation Fish Fry was one of the largest cybercrime operations in history. In 2009, this phishing scheme was formed to steal personal and financial information from thousands of victims, targeting mostly customers of major U.S. banks and financial institutions. Operation Fish Fry was a well-coordinated cybercrime operation that exploited human vulnerabilities through phishing attacks. By sending out mass phishing emails impersonating legitimate banks, the criminals behind Fish Fry aimed to trick users into revealing their account credentials and other sensitive information. They used social engineering techniques and email spoofing to deceive victims. Phishing emails were crafted to look like real communications from well-known financial institutions, warning recipients of account issues and saying immediate action was needed. Victims who ended up clicking on these links in their emails were directed to fake websites that looked like banking portals. After they entered their login credentials, the criminals harvested the information for unauthorized access to victims' bank accounts. Operation Fish Fry had a huge reach, targeting thousands of victims across the United States. The attack caused significant financial losses to the victims and led to compromised bank accounts and unauthorized transactions.
Oh, here she comes. She's a man gobbler, eater. She's a man eater. Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes.
The Google Docs phishing scam of 2017 posed a significant threat to Gmail users. By using deceptive emails and fraudulent third-party applications, the attackers aimed to gain unauthorized access to users' Google accounts and sensitive information. The attack began with the distribution of phishing emails to Gmail users. These emails appeared to come from known contacts and contain links for viewing shared Google Docs documents. The attackers designed the emails to create a sense of urgency and credibility, luring victims to click on the dirty links. Once they clicked the link, users were redirected to a fraudulent third-party application that impersonated Google Docs. To view the supposed document, users were prompted to authorize the fake application to access their Google accounts. The attackers exploited the OAuth protocol, tricking users into granting the application extensive permissions. With the authorized access, the attackers could view users' Gmail accounts, read their emails, and harvest sensitive information from their contact list. The stolen data could be used for further phishing attempts or other malicious activities. These breaches serve as stark reminders of the dangers of phishing attacks. Phishing remains one of the most effective methods used by cybercriminals to infiltrate organizations and compromise sensitive data. It underscores the importance of maintaining strong cybersecurity practices. By following this guide, we can protect ourselves and our organizations from falling victim to such devastating breaches.
How do we prevent this?
Having completed our research, we are ready to translate our findings into an informative training video. This video aims to equip our audience with the knowledge and skills necessary to understand and address the challenges posed by the ever-evolving cybersecurity landscape. Phishing attacks are becoming increasingly common, and they can have serious consequences for individuals and organizations. But fear not, we're here to empower you with the knowledge and tools to protect you from these cyber threats. Before we dive into prevention, let's first understand what phishing attacks are. Phishing is a malicious attempt to deceive individuals into revealing sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, or financial details. There are several techniques of phishing. Email phishing. Cybercriminals send deceptive emails appearing as genuine sources to trick recipients into clicking on malicious links or downloading harmful attachments. Spear phishing. A targeted approach where attackers use specific information about their targets to craft personalized and convincing messages. Whaling, a type of spear phishing targeting high-profile individuals aiming to gain access to sensitive corporate information. Clone phishing, attackers create fake websites or emails that imitate legitimate ones, luring users into providing their information. Vishing, attackers conduct voice phishing by making phone calls pretending to be from trusted organizations, extracting sensitive information over the phone. Smishing, similar to vishing but done through SMS or text messages, tricking users into revealing their data. Search engine phishing. Cybercriminals create fake websites appearing as legitimate search results to deceive users into providing their information. Malvertising. Attackers inject malicious code into legitimate online advertisements, redirecting users to phishing websites. Tab nabbing, a technique that targets inactive browser tabs, modifying their content to resemble a familiar login page. And lastly, man-in-the-middle or MITM phishing. Attackers intercept communication between users and legitimate websites, capturing sensitive data.
As you can see, these emails may look convincing, but there are ways to spot them. So let's move on to our next segment, recognizing phishing emails. To protect yourself from falling victim to phishing attacks, you need to be able to identify these deceptive emails. Here are some common signs to watch out for. Suspicious sender. Check the email address of the sender. Be cautious of misspellings, unusual domains, or suspicious characters. Urgency and threats. Phishing emails often create a sense of urgency, like claiming your account will be closed unless you act immediately. Request for sensitive information. Legitimate organizations won't ask for sensitive data like passwords or credit card details via email. Poor grammar and spelling. Phishing emails often contain errors indicating a lack of professionalism. Unfamiliar links. Hover your cursor over links to reveal the actual URL. Be wary if the link doesn't match the sender's website. Unsolicited attachments. Avoid opening attachments from unknown sources as they may contain malware.
Now that we know how to recognize phishing emails, let's learn some best practices to protect ourselves. Number 1, educate yourself. Stay informed about the latest phishing trends and techniques used to keep yourself up to date. Number 2, use two-factor authentication. Enable 2FA wherever possible to add an extra layer of security. Number 3, keep software updated. Regularly update your operating system, antivirus, and other software to patch vulnerabilities. Number 4, beware of pop-ups. Avoid clicking on pop-ups or ads in emails as they could be malicious. Number 5, verify requests. If you receive an email requesting sensitive information or transactions, verify it through a trusted source before acting. Number 6, double check URLs. Before entering login credentials or personal data, ensure you're on the correct website by checking the URL. Number 7, be cautious with personal information. Be cautious about sharing personal information on social media platforms as attackers can use it to craft convincing emails. Remember, No single solution can provide complete protection against phishing. Combining multiple measures and maintaining a cybersecurity conscious culture is crucial to effectively safeguard against phishing attacks.
Next, we'll explain the importance of reporting phishing emails. Number 1, limiting the spread. By reporting phishing emails, you can help prevent others from falling victim to the same scam. When the email is identified and blocked, it reduces the chances of attackers reaching a broader audience. Number 2, protecting personal information. Phishing emails often aim to steal sensitive information, such as login credentials, credit card details, or personal data. Number 3, strengthening cybersecurity defenses. Reporting attempts allow security teams and email service providers to analyze the emails, characteristics, and techniques used by bad actors. This information can be used to improve defenses and develop better measures to counter future attempts. Number 4, preventing financial loss. Many attacks have financial motives, targeting individuals and organizations to steal money and conduct fraudulent transactions. Number 5, identifying trends and patterns. Collecting data on reported phishing emails can reveal trends and patterns in criminal activities. This data can be used to identify specific attack vectors, targeted industries, or seasonal trends. Number 6, legal and law enforcement actions. In some cases, reporting can contribute to legal actions against criminals. Law enforcement agencies can use the information provided in reports to investigate and prosecute the attackers. And finally, number 7, building a cybersecurity culture. Reporting promotes a security culture within organizations and communities. It encourages individuals to stay vigilant and take an active role in protecting themselves and others from threats. Even with all these precautions, you might occasionally encounter a sophisticated phishing attempt. If you suspect an email to be phishing, don't ignore it. Report it to your email provider or IT department. Reporting helps protect others and allows security teams to take the appropriate action. Congratulations! You've just learned how to prevent phishing email attacks. Remember, staying vigilant and practicing these prevention methods is crucial in safeguarding yourself and your data. Share this knowledge with your friends, family, and colleagues to create a safer digital environment for everybody. And thank you for watching.